Hey everyone, welcome back to Car Flash, the only channel where the glossy PR talk gets left at the dealership, and what you get instead is the real, gritty truth from someone who actually drives the thing, not just reads the press kit. If you're new here, buckle up, because today, we're diving headfirst into the 2026 Subaru Crosstrek. It's rugged, it's sensible, and it wants to be the little off-roader that could. But does it actually deserve your money? Let's find out. Exterior now. Let's start with what hits you first at the exterior. The Crosstrek has always looked a little like it was trying to cosplay as a full-size SUV, but the 2026 model actually pulls it off with more confidence. The front end gets a sharper, more defined grille. Subaru calls it hexagonal, but it just looks wider and a bit more aggressive. The LED headlights are sleeker now and sweep farther back into the fenders, giving the front fascia some actual personality. No fake vents, no weird chrome lips, just a clean, bold look that finally says, "I'm more than just a lifted Impreza." From the side, the Crosstrek keeps that chunky stance that's made it a hit with urban explorers and college kids who go hiking twice a year. But Subaru has worked on proportions here. There's a stronger beltline that gives it more presence, and the fender cladding feels less like an afterthought and more like a part of the design now. And let's talk about ground clearance. We're still looking at 8.7 inches. Which is more than most crossovers in this price bracket. That's real deal clearance for rough roads, not just grocery store curbs. Around the back, Subaru keeps it simple but effective. The taillights are fully LED now and mimic the front design with angular cuts. The tailgate itself is a bit more sculpted, with a subtle roof spoiler and actual usable rear visibility. No fake exhausts, no weird plastic bits trying too hard, just a neat, honest rear that doesn't pretend to be a Lamborghini. Bonus points for the hidden washer nozzle and rear wiper that tucks under the spoiler. Practical and clean. Interior. Pop the door and step inside, and here's where Subaru has quietly made the biggest leap. The interior of the 2026 Crosstrek doesn't feel like rental car gray plastic anymore. You're greeted with a redesigned dash that centers around an 11.6-inch vertically oriented touchscreen. Standard on most trims now. It's responsive, doesn't lag like a budget tablet, and finally supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto across the board. Thank you, Subaru. Finally catching up. Materials are better this time around. Soft touch surfaces where you need them, even some contrast stitching that doesn't feel fake or overdone. The seats, way more comfortable than you'd expect from a small crossover. They've reshaped the bolstering to hold you better on longer drives without squeezing your kidneys. Heated seats are available on more trims now, and if you go for the wilderness or limited, you even get a power driver's seat, something older Crosstrek stubbornly skipped. Rear seat space is still decent for the class. If you're over 6 feet, you won't want to road trip back there, but it's fine for adults on short hauls. Subaru's packaging is clever. A low transmission tunnel, decent headroom even with the moonroof, and rear doors that open wide enough to get in easily. Cargo space, you're looking at just over 55 cubic feet with the seats down. That's not class leading, but it's usable. Bonus, the rear seats fold flat without weird angles or awkward steps. Let's talk performance, and this is where it gets a little divisive. Subaru still offers 2 engine options. And no, we're not getting turbocharged fire breathers here. The base engine is the familiar 2.0-liter flat-4 pushing 152 horsepower. If that sounds underwhelming, it is. Merging onto highways requires planning and prayer. But if you step up to the sport or limited trims, you get the 2.5-liter boxer engine with 182 horsepower. And let me tell you, that bump makes all the difference. It's still not fast, but it finally feels adequate, like you're not asking too much of it every time you pass a truck. What's nice is the throttle tuning. It's not overly touchy, and power delivery is linear. And despite being paired to a CVT, which I usually hate, Subaru's version does a decent job mimicking real gear changes. It won't win races, but it won't make you hate your commute either. Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive is still the real MVP here. It's not a gimmick, it works. Loose gravel, slushy roads, sketchy mountain passes, the Crosstrek just keeps going. No drama, no wheel slip light flashing like it's New Year's Eve. Ride quality is tuned for comfort more than sport, which makes sense for the segment. It soaks up potholes and uneven roads like a champ. The steering's light but precise, and you get decent feedback for a crossover. If you opt for the wilderness trim AES, Subaru's got one of those now too. You get raised suspension, more off-road traction modes, and legit underbody protection. It's not a Jeep Wrangler, but it'll handle that muddy trail to your favorite camping spot without hesitation. Fuel economy is solid too. The 2.0-liter pulls in around 28 miles per gallon city and 34 miles per gallon highway, while the 2.5 lands just a tick lower around 26-33. No hybrid version yet, which is surprising considering the competition. But if you just want simple, reliable efficiency, the Crosstrek delivers. Pricing is pretty reasonable, and that's a big part of why the Crosstrek has such a cult following. The base trim ain't now called the base again, because Subaru doesn't do fancy marketing names. It starts around $26,000. Add a couple thousand for the premium if you want more features like heated seats and better interior materials. The Sport and Limited trims with the 2.5-liter engine start in the low $30,000s, and the Wilderness nudges closer to $34,000. Fully loaded, you're still under $36,000, which is kind of a miracle these days. Standard safety tech includes Subaru's latest EyeSight system, a forward collision warning, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, and now even automatic emergency steering. It's not perfect, and it still sometimes freaks out over shadows or bicyclists too far away, but it's getting better, and it's all included and no paywall nonsense like some other brands. So what's the verdict? Is the 2026 Subaru Crosstrek the perfect small crossover? Not exactly. If you want sporty handling, quick acceleration, or a premium feeling cabin, there are other options out there. But if you want something that's genuinely usable every day, built for people who drive through weather and dirt, not just Starbucks parking lots, the Crosstrek nails it. It's honest, capable, and finally feels like it's growing into its own skin instead of living in the WRX's shadow. This isn't a car that tries to be everything to everyone. It just tries to be good at what it is, and for most people, that's more than enough. That's it for today's unfiltered take on the 2026 Subaru Crosstrek. If this helped you, hit that like button like you just avoided a pothole at 60. Subscribe if you want more real-world, no-fluff reviews. And drop a comment. Tell me, would you daily this Crosstrek or are you holding out for a turbo? Either way, I'll see you in the next one. Only here, on Car Flash, where we cut the fluff and drive the truth.